Hey, Paul here. Thought I'd give you the view of where I am in a Metairie office building overlooking the Causeway Bridge. Wanted to share because sometimes people have confusion about what happens when you have a married couple and they have a revocable living trust. They want all the simplicity and probate avoidance and all that. What happens when the first spouse passes away? It all depends on how the trust instrument was established, but it's real common because of older estate tax laws and because of Louisiana's unique forced heirship laws, if there are younger children, for a couple to have a revocable living trust set up so that when the first spouse dies, that spouse's share of the trust becomes irrevocable. So let's take, for example, a couple who has maybe $2 million of assets in their trust. Let's say the husband dies. Well, when the husband dies, his $1 million, his half of the trust becomes irrevocable. The surviving wife, her half of the trust, her $1 million, continues to be revocable. She can do whatever she wants to with it. And as to that husband's irrevocable part, now that he has passed away, typically the surviving wife is the trustee. She's also the income beneficiary, meaning she gets all the interest and the dividends. And often that surviving wife has the discretion and an authorization to spend the irrevocable trust part for the surviving wife's health, education, maintenance, and support. That's kind of a typical standards. And then when the surviving wife dies, the husband's share typically would go to the husband's children or other heirs. The surviving wife can't change where the husband's part goes when the surviving wife dies. May sound complicated, but that scenario does a number of things. It complies with all of Louisiana's forced heirship laws. It protects the heirs of the first spouse to die from the surviving wife or surviving spouse, whatever the case may be, changing the ultimate disposition of the first spouse to die's portion. The assets of the first spouse to die, if they become irrevocable at that time, typically are excluded from the estate of the surviving spouse for purposes of the 40% federal estate tax. So a whole bunch of that goes into play when all these things are being established. The key is you need to make informed decisions. It seems like too many people are making real shallow decisions without understanding all of the consequences of those decisions that they make. That's why it's so important to have a conversation where you really go deep about all of these issues so you can make things on the back end really simple. Things go exactly how you want them to go with the right people in charge. So just know that that's some of the things that come into play when married couples are setting up an estate planning program to make things simple for each other, for their children. Need to take into account all those considerations. Y'all have a great day. Hope you enjoy.